Greetings, everyone. Hope all is well. Today, I want to speak about gifts and talents. So, there's a quote that I really like, and it's from Muhammad Ali. And the way the quote goes, I wrote it down because I didn't want to, I could have given it to you, like, figuratively speaking, but I want you to actually hear the quote. So, the quote is: "A service to others is the rent you pay for the room here on earth." So service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Sorry. Okay. So I think I heard that quote years ago and I always thought that was just such a dope ass quote. Like, you know what, that's so true. Like that is the rent we pay, for our room here on earth, just our to take up space here on this planet is to be of service. Now, as I'm talking about that, I want to talk about like our gifts and talents because that goes along with service. Okay, we have been, programmed to think that we're supposed to, you know, go to school and then get a job, and that's it. And honestly, we are like divine and sovereign beings, like in our purest form, but there have been powers that be and entities that are just really screwed up that pretty much formed a matrix over this planet. And a matrix is like just like something that is not natural over something that's natural, right? So that's what the matrix is, because we have this beautiful world that we're living in, and then we got this shitty ass, fungus that is over the earth, which is called the matrix. That's how I see it, like a fungus that needs to be eradicated. Whether you want to say the powers that be, whether you want to call it the Illuminati, whether you, well, really, honestly, we're the illuminated ones, because to be illuminated means to be of light, to be of knowledge. So I don't even like calling them Illuminati because they're not. We are the original Illuminatis, the light bringers, the ones that bring um wisdom and knowledge to the earth. That's us. But whatever. I want to get them. Bring it back. So I have some notes here. So if you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my notes. So we have to like really break the confines of like how we were raised, and like how we were, like the information that was indoctrinated on us to make us believe that like we're just supposed to, go to school, and then school um pretty much give us all this false information, and then we end up going to college, or we end up getting a job and living for the weekend, and then work weekend repeat, work weekend repeat until we're dead. Like, no, that is not how it's really supposed to go here. It's something so much more beautiful that we're supposed to be facilitating on this earth, and that is our gifts and our talents. The whole reason why I got back on my channel was because this is something that's like more spiritual than anything else. And so, like, I know that it's my divine, like, service is to share information. So, and also to help people find their gifts and talents, because I have a really good knack for that, talking to people and helping them find like their gifts and talents, because sometimes they're not even aware of it, but I just have a gift of like seeing gifts in other people. It's weird, but like that's one of my gifts and talents, just to give you guys an example. And talking and sharing knowledge is another one of my gifts and talents. We can have more than one talent also, so I just want to make that clear. Like, so you're not just boxed into this one talent. Like, we all have many talents and gifts and services to share. So, so what we need to do as a collective is we have to like look within ourselves and find our passions, because wherever our passions lie is where our gifts and talents lie, which is the service that we um, give to the earth, to the world, to the people. So some people are probably thinking to themselves like, okay, how do I do that? How do I, figure out what I'm passionate about? Because, we've been brainwashed since we were children with school and everything else. And we kind of like lose ourselves in all of that and thinking like we're supposed to go to school and go to college and work for somebody else, as opposed to being a sovereign being and working for ourselves. So we might have an issue like, well, how do we find our passions? And I think the best way to start, honestly, is to think of what was it that you loved doing as a child? What was there? Is there something that stood out that, you were just completely passionate about? You just loved it. And I say we want to start with our childhood because that's like one of the most purest and authentic forms of ourselves before we became jaded or influenced heavily by, our surroundings, like maybe our parents. I mean, like before your parents start doing that, when you're little, you just kind of doing your own thing, or, you just got to kind of dig into the crates of your mind and think about like, what is it that I really enjoyed doing as a child? Because that never leaves. It will 100% still be something that you're passionate about right here and right now. It might be more so like maybe matured or something like that, of course, because you're an adult now, but it will still be along the premises of like what your talent and your gift is. So for instance, for me, like I said, I like helping people find their gifts and their talent, and I like to just help people in general. Like I'm kind of like a kind of energy of like a problem solver. Like when I see people more from a psychological standpoint, when they're having issues or problems and trying to work something out and they seem like they're stuck or whatever, I have the gift and talent of like helping a person navigate that. So that's something that I've been doing since I was a child. Like always been like an ear to listen and like to give like advice from my heart. And I did it in high school. I did it when I was out of high school, like my whole life. So this is like my service that I'm supposed to like share and give to be the rent that I pay here on earth. And so that's just an example. Um Now, another thing that could might be a bit of a blockage is say maybe you can't grab anything from your childhood. Maybe your childhood was just like really tumultuous and you can't really think of a time or something like that. Then what you would need to do is kind of peel back the layers of yourself. And this is a process, so it's not going to be something that's like completely simple, but you have to peel back. Like, we're kind of like onions, especially, as adults, like we've been through a lot of different things, right? So, and we've also been in contact with a lot of different people, which will be in the like box of like, influence, right? So, you kind of like have to divide, like pry apart like yourself and how others perceive you, right? So once you can identify that, how people are perceiving me, which is can be true or false, it might be totally false, like not really who you are. If you're the type of person that constantly let people mold you and create who they want you to be outside of like maybe what you want it to be, like you hear like the okay basic, kind of like story you always hear, like, oh, the child who grew up and their whole childhood, their parents wanted them to be a doctor, But that child, now adult, never wanted to be a freaking doctor. They wanted to be a guitarist. And they just were never able to live out their talent and gift that they could potentially have because they were too caught up in trying to appease and make like other people happy as opposed to themselves. And they never really delved into their gift or their talent because of how others perceive them, or what, you know, parents living vicariously through their children, making them be into stuff that maybe they never did get to aspire to be, like, shit like that. So you would have to like pry that apart so that you can figure out who you are. And once you do that, you can think about like what have I always been into? Like, what do I like? And you may even have to dibble and dabble in things and see like, oh, I really am into that. I really do enjoy this, or whatever the case may be. And then like that's a way that you can kind of help yourself like go and dig into what your gift and what your talent is. And this goes along with like service, and it also ties in with your your income, because oh my, with your income, because when you provide a service, you receive something back from it, right? So once you get in and you tie in with your gift and your talent, the energy that you put out will be reciprocated through you making money for it. So then it takes away from you having to work for somebody, right? So sometimes it can even come into a space where, say, you have a job, say you're like a really good manager at a clothing store, and you probably really love clothes. See, that's how they filter you out. You can also have a gift and talent, and once you go into the working world, you end up working for somebody else's dream or goal or talent, right? And not for yourself. So say you're a manager at a clothing store, and you're really good at it. You're really good at managing, and you really love clothing, and you really love designing. And so then you go into that space, and then next thing you know, you're working there, but you're not really satisfied because it's not your dream. This is not your dream. You're doing somebody else's dream, right? So when that happens, that's like also some like your spirit like showing you like, okay, we're into this, but we're not into this for like doing this for somebody else. Like, we want to do our own thing. And so like for those of you who are working in that type of situation, it will probably be a good idea for you to try to maybe start up your own clothing line on the side. Even if it's just you taking clothes and like cutting them up or rearranging them and making them look cuter, and like selling a few pieces on Amazon or eBay or Etsy or something like that. And then that's how you can like progress into your gifts and talents to where you can be sovereign and have your own business and be adding energy to your own empire, right? So what else would I want to say? Shush. Sorry, you guys know I have kids. Okay, and then my last thing I wanted to say, I'm sorry it took so long. Um, which I don't think is the last resort. Honestly, for me, it's my first resort because that's just like how I roll. Divine guidance. I feel like that's the quickest way. If you really are just like, I don't know, you know, I knew someone who just felt like they didn't have no type of talent or skill. And, there's no shaming for or anything like that, but it's just sad because society puts us in a space to where, we thinking like us working for somebody else is the talent and the skill, and it's not. Like, we all have our own talents and skills. And so divine guidance, I feel like, is a really good way and an avenue to go, because if you go within, you will always receive the answers that you're looking for. So if it's just you sitting down and just going within and maybe meditating for maybe 5 minutes a day on just asking the Most High or your ancestors or whoever, whatever you do that is of a higher frequency than yourself, to speak to that energy and ask for it to give you an idea of who you are, what are your skills, what are your abilities, what are your talents, and it will be revealed. It will be revealed, like, who you are, what's your skill, and what's your talent. And if you keep with your meditation and you keep constantly asking more questions, it's like spirit will just like leave breadcrumbs for you. And, it'll be like, oh, you look up and you see a sign, or you might be watching a show and then something pops up that's exactly uh, something you really resonate with, that you feel like is something that you totally be into. That's how spirit speaks to you, like that. So, or it could be like a conversation that you hear in passing of something that, oh, it triggers a memory, like, oh man, I used to really be like totally into that. And, why did I stop or whatever? And it might be your circumstances. People have children, or people have responsibilities that they have to take on. People got rent, to pay, and bills and all that type of stuff. And then you just, got all this stuff, just poured on top of you. And then you just, that's how they do it in the Matrix. And then you kind of like forget who you are or what you came here for in the first place. So I just wanted to encourage you guys that, we all have a talent, and we all have a skill and a gift to bring to the world. And no one's talent is better or worse, because the cobbler, the man who can make, or the woman that can make those shoes and just totally make you a beautiful pair of shoes where you just feeling the bomb about yourself, to the hairstylist around the corner that whips you up and just has you feeling good, to a superstar singer. Like, everybody matters. We are all, this beautiful ecosystem of like unity, that with every skill, gift, and talent that is cultivated, we all benefit from it. That's why it's a gift and it's a talent. And with the energy that you put into your gift, into your talent, is what will be reciprocated. So make sure you try to keep your vibratory frequency high and believe in yourself, and know that what you have to give to the world is important, because guess what? You are the only person that can give the talent and skill that you have, because we are all unique individuals who are special and have a very unique gift and talent that only you can provide. So, with that, I want to just wish you guys well. Really, think about what I said with the gifts and talents, and with that beautiful quote by Muhammad Ali: service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on this earth. And let's, get our service up, and let's pay our rent. Let's give back, because those who give back are really the ones that are the most um oh my god, I'm having this brain fart. Are the richest people in the world. Like, those who give back. So let's give back. All right, this is Mystic, and I just want to wish you well, wish you peace, love yourself, put up healthy boundaries, and continue to push on. Peace.